We're back today for part 3 on the Z, where we're going to be painting these wheels. First off, I'm going to be going through the Dip Your Car kit that I got from dipyourcar.com. I'll show you everything that it came with in this kit. So this is the wheel kit. They let you choose your color and your finish, so I went with gloss black. And so in this kit, you get 4 cans of black Plasti Dip, 2 cans of glossifier to go over the top of the black with when you're done, a pre-dip spray. It helps clean the wheel before, and then it also helps the dip stick. We got microfiber towel. These are bags to cover your brakes with. I'll show you how we do that in a minute here. And then this is dip release. And dip your car cup. Oh, it looks like it changes. Oh, temperature, color changing cup too. So that's what we get. I'm going to start off by soaking all of the spray cans in warm water. That's just what they say to do to get the best result with the dip. So about right after I got the car, I took the wheels off to see if I could strip this paint. I figured out that I cannot without stripping through the stock paint that comes on the wheels. And I noticed that the previous owner got these aluminum lugs and had put them on, and I noticed when I was taking the wheel off, I could tell that they were just biting on the way out. As you can see here, they're just full of aluminum. So I went ahead and bought just the factory lugs. This right here is why you do not buy cheap aluminum lug nuts. It's just coated in aluminum on a couple of these. And now you can't see, but it just ate away the inside threads of these because they're cheap aluminum. I am left here picking these little aluminum shavings out of the threads with a drill bit. And they just chip off like fingernails. Thank you to the... Now that the lugs are swapped out with the stock ones, we just clean the wheel while it was off the car. Now, what you want to do is take the dip release liquid that they give you and put a nice even layer all the way around the tire. That way when you're done spraying, it will peel right off the tire like nothing. You want to just make sure that you don't get it on the wheel that you do want to paint, where you want it to stick, because it will peel right off of that too. I already thoroughly cleaned the wheels while they were off the car, just because it was easier to get behind the lugs and all that. But I'm just going to go over one more time. The Dip Your Car wheel kit comes with a garbage bag that they give you to mask off the brakes and behind the wheel area. So you just rip it into a giant square, and then just start threading it through the spokes. And then when it's in there, you want to just spread the bag over the rotors. You want to make sure that the bag is not touching much of the wheel as much as you can help it, because Plasti Dip does just stick to itself and peel together. So that's something that you want to avoid. Alright, looks like we're ready to paint. So they say that coat 1 should be about 50% coverage, so we'll get that going. If I didn't mention before, also, especially in colder climates, you want to just have these cans sitting in warm water when you're not using them. It helps it just spray evenly. Most wheels have a lot of different, curves and angles, but these ones have a lot of different angles that you gotta spray to make sure you get perfect coverage. Plastic is very forgiving though. You just put it on as evenly as you can, and it usually, you can tell between the drying of the coats that they form together. Like right now it looks like it might run, but that's just kind of how it looks, especially on the first coat. And then it dries very, very flat. It's way easier to use than other paints, and that's why you can use it right out of the rattle can. Alright, so this one is gonna wait 15 minutes between coats. So coat 2 will be different than the first coat in that you want to go really heavy. Not to the point that it will drip, but almost to that. You just want to get complete coverage of all the red in our case. As you can see, in just the 15 minutes of dry time, it just lays so flat. It looks pretty good right now. This layer I'm gonna lay down and kind of get every little angle I can. If you're able to, it's nice to move the car a little bit. I have mine on the jack right now, and I'm afraid it might mess up the bag behind it, but I'm just gonna go at it. But yeah, you can see it just starts to lay so flat. Plasti-Dip does come out pretty matte right away, so that's the result you'll get if you don't use Glossifier. So I'm gonna do about 2 to 3 more coats, and then I'll check back in before I do the Glossifier. So it got a little too dark to film the Glossifier step last night, but it goes on pretty similar. It sprays in a wider range than the regular black. The black kind of sprays like in a straight line, and you can turn it straighter up and down, and the Glossifier kind of just misses everything, and you just want a good even coat. You can do 1 to 2 coats of that. So after that, it's the next day now. and you can kind of just start bunching the bag back here into one area, and just make sure it's not sticking to any part of the wheel, because you might end up peeling the dip off of that part of the wheel. And you want to just kind of find a section where it's a little bigger to pull the bag out of. Gently, just make sure you're not grinding on the back side of the dip, because that's where it will start to peel up. Alright, and then after that, we are going to see how easy the dip peels off the tire. One piece, just like this. And for those of you who don't know, the dip will peel off of wheels just as easy. Not just as easy, because the the dip release was put on the tires, but if you end up not liking your project that you're painting, if it's your whole car or just wheels, you can just, you know, pick a corner and start to peel. And there's videos, I mean, people will do a whole wheel in just one piece. It just depends on how thick you go with the dip. So if you have a thick enough layer, it will peel evenly off of anything, which is the really cool part about dip. You don't have to worry about ruining wheels. Like the person before me obviously had that just regular spray paint job on these wheels, and it looked really runny and just not a good job for this nice of a car. This black is, I think it's a good middle ground between, you know, super cheap. The whole kit that I got and showed earlier was $64, and I mean, the car has a whole new look. I didn't paint the center caps. That's something that is up to you. Usually you have to take the wheel off to paint the center cap, and I think that might be what deters people from doing it. You just pop it out from the back. But I decided to take it out because I was switching the lugs anyways. And I think the look of a clean center cap in the center of the black wheel, oops, will look good. This one needs a little bit of cleaning still, but yeah, you get the idea. You can go either way. But yeah, that's the Plastidip job. I'll kind of get closer to some of these wheels. I think it looks really good on the gray. A lot better than that orange-red color that the previous owner tried to attempt. But yeah, I think they turned out really good. Another good thing about this dip is that I noticed underneath the red paint that was on here, there are these deep scratches right here. I could see them really prominently with the red. They're kind of showing up more on video, but in person you can't really tell. It kind of just fills in those gaps right here. That must have been why they painted them in the first place, but yeah, I mean, turned out pretty good, especially for how cheap you can do that. So I'd recommend it. I like dip. I would like to try to dip a whole car sometime. I think that would be a really fun project.